Hi, welcome everyone to Techquitable's Spring 2022 cohort. I'm really excited to have everyone here. As I mentioned earlier, this is the biggest cohort to date, fourth cohort since we started this program back in the fall of 2020. So let's get things started. So to talk about agendas today, there are four main things that I want to cover. One is to kind of go over the program overview with everyone here. And then two, we'll talk about logistics for like short 5 minutes. And then we'll have Q&A sessions dedicated, so that you have any questions about the program or how this is going to work, that will be a time to ask. And then lastly, this is the most fun and exciting part of the day, which is meet and greet. For this part, I'm going to assign each one of you to the breakout room with your assigned mentor or mentors if you have two of them. You guys will have 20 minutes to kind of like introduce yourself and talk about your interest and what you hope to get out of the program. If you don't have mentors that are joining up for today, we'll got you covered and we'll match you with some of our program leads. So. All right, so let's get started. First of all, program overview here. So let's talk about, just tech as a career. So we have a lot of opportunity in this industry, which is that tech industry is one of the fastest growing industry with great play and work-life balance. And this also shows up in like labor statistics. On the left-hand side, you see this like kind of growth in the number of job openings. So since 2015 to 2020, there has been over like 190% of growth in the number of job openings for tech roles. And this also shows up in the compensation statistics. When you just even look at the median pay, the median tech wage is about 89% higher than the median national wage. So there's a great opportunity in terms of like number of jobs and also the compensation that's growing in industry. But there's one kind of like, there's like one problem that's not really being like addressed and talked about enough, and that is the equal access to opportunities. So people who are represented in background here are still left out from this great opportunity. On the left-hand side, you see this kind of famous image from this report called Design Tech Report. And you have like this one child like that's like getting a lot of apple on that one hand side, and the other child that's not getting enough apple just because like the access to this opportunity is just not equal. And this kind of like inequality in access also shows up in tech workforce. So when you look at the representation of Black or African American, Hispanic or Latino or women, these three groups are all unrepresented compared to kind of like the average in the US occupations. And the part of that problem could be this kind of like the process to get jobs in the first place. So this tweet came from one of the senior software engineers on Twitter. He said when there was a big Facebook outage, hey, Facebook, why don't you just reverse the double linked list you gave me during my interview? Because I'm sure that will come in handy now. And people who have kind of gone through this interview process kind of gets the joke, which is that there's like some or even great disparity between what you might get asked during the interviews versus what you actually do day to day as a software engineer to succeed in that job. So there is also that kind of disparity that we also have to address in order to make sure that the access to this opportunity could be equalized. So this is why we kind of set up this organization called Techquitable. So Techquitable is a volunteer-run fellowship dedicated to making the tech industry more accessible to individuals from all backgrounds. And we help students from underrepresented backgrounds, and that includes race, gender, sexuality, education, land their first job in software engineering by pairing them with mentors in the industry to receive interview prep and career advice. So those of you guys who made it today, thank you guys for attending and trying to kind of create a better path for yourself. And for mentors, we really appreciate you signing up for the next 9 weeks to offer your knowledge and time to the students here. And in terms of the team behind it, we are 7 technologists leveraging our experience and knowledge to pay it forward. My name is Wentao, and I'm one of them. And we are also joined by 2 other program members. So, Jern, do you want to kick it off with some introduction?
And sorry, everybody, I'm in an airport right now, so the Wi-Fi is a little bit spotty, but my name is Jaren Colbert. I'm a senior software engineer at Greenhouse Software. We build onboarding and recruiting tools. Really happy to join you all this semester. This will be my first as a program lead, and I was a mentor last semester as well.
Thanks for that quick introduction. And we're also joined by Viveka. You could give a short introduction of yourself.
Hi, everyone. Yep, I'm Viveka. As Wentao said, I have been a program lead for the last couple of cohorts, and like Jared, I'm also a mentor. And in addition, I work as a software engineer at Block, formerly known as Square.
Yep, thanks for that. And some of the program leads are not here, but they're also Arnaud, who's a software engineer at Sightline, Curran, who's a product officer strategy at LinkedIn, Michael, who's a software engineer at this social media app called Clubhouse, and then there's also Miles, who's also an engineer at YouTube.
I am actually here, Wentao. What's up?
Oh, sorry, did not see you. Sorry about that.
It's all good,
number
man.
of attendance is pretty big today, so. Okay, Miles.
I know, it's so exciting.
Yep.
In like previous years, you could tell like exactly who was on the screen right now. But hey, everyone, I'm Miles. I am also a program lead at Techquitable. I was a mentor in the first cohort of Techquitable back in fall of 2020, and have then transitioned to a program lead role since then. And I'm so excited for this fourth cohort. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
All right, thanks for that. Yep, so this is just kind of like the core team behind it that's like helping organize things. And then moving on to this other side of the program, which are the fellows. So we partner with college students such as yourself from an underrepresented background, attending public universities or like non-feeder schools of tech industries. So in the past, the schools that have been represented are like colleges like such as Arizona State Universities, lots of CUNY campuses, so Brooklyn College, Hunter College, John Jay College, and some of like the other public institutions such as Sacramento State, UC Davis of California, and UC Santa Cruz. And there are also many other colleges that are not mentioned on this slide, but have been represented among the past cohort. And now with regards to mentors, our mentors are current software engineers who have found out about us through direct outreach, workplace referral, and word of mouth. And companies represented from the past cohort really kind of like, varies in a wide range. So there's some recognizable name here, such as like Airbnb, Meta, Microsoft, and so on. And there are also startups that you may never have heard of, but they're also presented here. So companies such as EDO, Sightline, that are all represented among our mentors list. And now to talk about what we do here. So for 9 weeks, we provide group lessons and individual mentorship. To talk about the group lessons first, so this is where we have 60 to 90-minute session per week, and they cover both technical and non-technical topics. And each week, each lesson is led by different teams of mentors. So this is like where you can like review any kind of like algorithms and data structure that you may have learned about in class, or even this is like your first time learning about it. Hopefully this kind of gets you up to speed and create a strong foundation to start learning more about these interview topics. And then moving on to the second piece, which is the individual mentorship. So this is where you have your 60-minute session with your assigned mentors. And really, this is like really up to you, the students, to decide how you want to spend it. So in the past, students have used this time to review things like the lesson materials from that week, or conduct mock interviews, or discuss like job search practices, or anything like, that you really find helpful that you want to talk to your mentors about. And this is what we hope you would take away. And there are 4 things here. One is knowledge. It's the knowledge about how to do well in technical interviews and what needs to be done to continue the journey of improvement. Second is support. And this is support for learning, problem-solving skills, and going through the challenging process with job interviews. We know like how stressful job searching could be. There's a lot of rejections and learning that you have to kind of like overcome. But we hope that we are all here for you to go through that process together. And the third piece is confidence. It's the confidence in being able to pass technical interviews and become a full-time software engineer. and the imposter syndrome in this tech industry is pretty widely prevalent. Even here, you have been working in the industry for a few years, you feel like, well, do I really, have the skills, or, do I even belong to this workplace that's like making such a complicated product? But, we're all in it together, and we're gonna try to help you build confidence to do well. And lastly, it's the friendship. It's the friendship with other fellows and mentors who are all here to help your early career goals come true. So we hope that you can take away these 4 things from the program after participating in it for the next 9 weeks. All right, so that covers the program overview, and now moving on to logistics. So this is the program schedule for the next 9 weeks. So, and I'm going to go through them one by one. So for week 1, which is today, we'll do kind of like this introduction between the mentors and fellows. So just kind of get things warmed up and, get familiar with the people here. And then for the second week, this is where we cover the non-technical topics, where we talk about like, things like resumes, behavior rounds. We'll also kind of give you like an overview of what the interview process will look like. So you have that kind of like mapped down in your head and know what to do at each phase and stuff. And this will be led by the program leads. And then starting from week 3, we start to dig into more of the technical topics. So we first start with arrays and strings, as well as time complexity. And this lesson will be led by Aishas and Lacey. And in week 4, we'll cover stacks and queues. And this lesson will be covered by Selena and Melissa. Week 5, we'll cover recursion. And this lesson will be covered by Titia, Castor, and Patrick. Week 6, we'll cover linked list. And this lesson will be covered by Dan and Marcus. And then week 7 will be graphs and trees. And this lesson will be covered by Gopal, Hannah, and Mark. And then we'll take a little bit of break here for Easter's and spring break. And then after that 1 week break, we'll come back to finish off our program. So by week 8, we'll cover a more kind of like advanced topic of sorting and searching. And this will be covered by Andrew, Penny, and Zach. And then lastly, for week 9, we'll have a closing celebration where everyone's invited to join the session again. And we'll also have a speaker guest lined up to talk about their journey of entering the software engineering career and how they developed it over time. And to talk more details about group lessons, so group lessons will be held every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time or 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So it's kind of, exactly the current time that we're working on. And each lesson is expected to run for 60 to 90 minutes, led by 2 to 3 mentors. In terms of the slides and video recordings, it will be posted to the, sorry, there's a typo here, but the Spring 2022 cohort Slack channel, the Google Drive, and also our YouTube channel, where the videos will be posted. And because the videos will be posted for review purpose, please note that they will be recorded and distributed with students who are also signed up for a newsletter outside our program. And lastly, attendance is strongly recommended, but if you have a conflict, please email us at hello@techquitable.io or message one of the leads on Slack. And in terms of mentor sessions, you should have already received your mentor pods or pairing/email. So hopefully you had a chance to check it. If you haven't, please check it now. And if you don't still see it, just email us and we can send you that pairing email again. And then, so yeah, the bulk of today's time will be spent in the breakout rooms, introducing fellows and mentors. So that will be coming up soon. And just one note, which is if you're a fellow and the mentor is not able to attend, please respond to the email thread with your availability. If you have not already done so. Oh, sorry. This is sorry, put it before the kind of for the meeting today. But still the same thing. If you have a schedule conflict with your mentor sessions, please email your mentor. So let them know so that you guys can reschedule it or try to or like rearrange the topics. And also CC us so that we know that that you're missing it, and we can also help you with some follow-up materials and whatnot. All right, so as I mentioned, we do have a Slack group at techquitable.slack.com. So if you haven't joined it, please join us there. And we basically use forum to kind of communicate, ask questions, and share insight. And there are a couple of main channels here. Sorry, these are all like, there are typos here, but there's like Spring 2022 fellows, the mentors, and cohort channels. And then there are also channels for coding questions and random things to talk about, anything fun that you want to post. And then lastly, there are also going to be social events. So we're not just about doing good, but also about having some fun. So for the first social, this will be held on March 9th, starting from like 5:30 p.m. Pacific time or 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And this will be a virtual town gathering that we'll be hosting. So everyone's welcome to join us for this event. The calendar invite will be sent out soon. And as for the second social, this will be scheduled to be hosted in late April. And this will be an in-person one. And just, based on the distribution of members here, there's going to be one in New York City and San Francisco. And the exact date is kind of like to be determined, but we'll be also sending out with more details. All right, so that wraps up the logistics, and yeah, kind of want to open it up to the floor for any questions about this program. Does anyone have questions? Okay, so got one question in the chat. Malangu said, asked, we'll have a classroom test. Thankfully, no. This is not going to be a graded course or anything, so we're not going to have any tests. I believe everyone's going to try to like learn at their own pace. So yeah, but I do recommend to like really try to pay attention in class, because that's how you can make the most of your time. Yeah, so that's just my personal recommendation for you. Any other questions? All right, sounds like we are more excited about having the introduction. So get started. So I'm going to assign folks to the breakout room. Oh, but seems like there's one more questions. Denise said, are there office hours or midweek session to help if you're stuck? That's a good question. It's something that we're like exploring about hosting one. So yeah, so let us like get back to you about whether we're gonna have like a formal schedule to have like an office hour, or whether we're gonna have like some of like an ad hoc ones for some of the harder topics. But if you're really stuck, feel free to like reach out to anyone in the Slack channel. If you post it in like the coding questions, that would be the best place to start your questions, and we can try to respond to your questions or directly to someone who would know that. And then we also got a question from Sally asking, are we also going to talk about algorithms? And the answer to that is very much yes. Probably algorithms going to be talked about in every single technical lessons, along with like the data structure that may be used. So yeah, you can kind of expect to like learn a lot more about it. Any questions? All right, if not, let's get started on the breakout room. So sorry, I'm just gonna get the slide. So yeah, these are the icebreaker questions. Feel free to ask things like, where you're from, where you're located currently, and for fellows, like, what college you go to, and mentors correspondingly, like, where do you work? And there are some like sample questions that we have posted, such as like, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? What's your favorite college class, or anything that you have watched recently that you found it really good. Honestly, anything is up for a game. So yeah, just hope you guys have a really nice conversation. And now I'm going to just stop the video sharing and assign you guys to the breakout room.